Gosh dang it, I don't know. Let's do it again. I lost it.
Okay. Start over?
You're on the clock.
Okay.
Yeah. Start over.
Let me just get her back home.
We were close. I don't know when I lost it, but I can see my lights off.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're homing.
Yep, we're sitting at home. Now we're just going to take off and find Y0 of that part. So first of all,
now how did you go from, so you did something, you went X, Y, Z.
Okay, so yeah, so whatever was in the control, whatever numbers were here, we wanted to zero out. So in order to zero that out, you make sure you're in position universal, and once you're in position page, you can change and go to whichever one. You know that went to external and then increment. There's a lot of different pages, so make sure you're in position universal, and then if those numbers aren't zero, you want to type in X, Y, Z, origin, and then make sure they all read zero when your control is at home position.
Okay.
Okay? So now we want to turn the spindle on. So we go to MDI, in program, and we type in S1000, M3 right, and then cycle start. So that turns our spindle on at 1000 RPM. And you can just go ahead and bump that, make sure that's wobbling really good.
You want it to wobble.
You want that baby to wobble. So now I'm just going into handle, and I'm going to move it over into position close to where I want to be. About the center of the part. And then straight down in Z. Get over just close, and then we slow down and turn it to 1/1000th per increment, per click on the control, on the dial. So now we just walk it in. Walk it in until it just starts touching, and then nice and easy. And then, doink, it just pushed off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the spindle off right there. And actually I told you wrong, didn't I? Because I actually want to zero out the control when I'm down here instead of at home.
Okay.
That way we don't have to calculate our dimensions right here. So what you want to do is that's a 200,000th diameter edge finder. So right now we're going to zero out, we're going to go Y origin. So we're zero right there. We're going to take it to Z, and we're going to move it back up to 10,000ths per click, and we're going to come straight up with it. And then what we're going to do is go back to Y, and we're going to go Y minus, because we're on the back side. We're going to go Y minus 100,000ths, which puts us right in the center of that edge finder now. What I'm going to do right now is origin that out again, Y origin. And now what I want to do is, what's the stock size on that material? I think it's 1 inch.
It's 1 inch by 1 inch, yes.
So then all we're going to do to find the exact center of that block, we're just going to move over a half an inch, right? So now we come over a ½ inch, and we go Y origin one more time. That is the center of Y axis right there.
Okay.
So now, what is the actual length of the part? What are they saw cut at? Do you know what?
7 9/16.
7 5/62.
9/16.
Yeah,
7 5/62. Yes.
So now, if you'll go ahead and take 7 5/62 and divide that in half for me, and I'll go ahead and find the other side. So I'm going to turn the spindle back on. So now we're going to go X. We're going to come down this way until we're just past. We'll bring that down. So we're just going to inch it over until it does the same thing. that just kicked off, so I'm going to go X origin right there. And then I'm going to come up in Z, but I'm going to turn the spindle off first. So I'm going to come up in Z, and then I'm going to, let's see, I already zeroed out X. Now I want to make sure I move it over this way, which is, oops, it's going to be minus
Didn't you zero out Y?
X.
Oh, you
Now-
zeroed out X when you did that. Okay.
Yeah. So now I want to move over 100 thousandths for half of my edge finder. I'm going to X origin. And then what was half that distance?
3781.
3.781. So now we're 0 right there on the edge, and we go 3.781, which has got to be close to there. 3.780 is close enough. 1,000 is not going to make a difference because we're
Okay.
going to machine both edges, right?
Right.
So that shouldn't be any big deal. So now I'm going to go X origin. So I just zeroed out the control. So right now, on that part that's in there, now of course we're going to have to set some sort of stop or gauge length so that repeats every time.
Right.
Because I just eyeballed the distance half and half, but you're going to need to set a gauge and then stick it in and tighten it up, and it'll be close enough because we are going to machine around the edges on both sides. So we've got a
Okay.
little bit of room to play with. So right now what I want to do is sit in the X0, Y0. I'm going to go ahead and take it to 0 return, and I'm going to go Z plus, and then I'm going to go X and Y. So, my distance from home position to X0, Y0 on this part is right there. Those two numbers. And
So
that's-
if I move 8.4350 in the Y and then 4.6220 in the X, I'm going to be right in the center of that part.
Absolutely right.
Okay.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where to put those numbers in the program.
Okay.
So now if we go back over to edit, we go into program. So we're in program 101, so if we cursor right down here, we're going to look for G92, which is right there. So that X number is what we want to put in there. So if we go, we can look at that number again. So X is 4.622. So I go back to program, and I'm still sitting on there, so I go X 4.622, and all I have to do is hit Alter after I do that. So X 4.622, Alter. So now that number just got put in there.
Okay.
So now we cursor over to Y, we look at Y, 8.435, back to program. So we go Y, 8.435, and then we hit Alter again. So
And there
now
it is.
those two numbers are in there. So now the machine knows from center line of that part in X and Y, it knows where it is for that tool. Now what we have to do is teach the Z with the actual tool that's going to cut it. So now this is where we'd have to have a 5/8 end mill. I can't tell, is that a 5/8?
Yeah,
or
I
is
think
that
it
a
is.
half?
Ooh, I think it's 5/8.
That's half.
It's half?
Yeah,
No, that's not an end mill.
that's half.
Where do we have our end mills?